I made a mistake and it was a failure. Are these sentences familiar to you? How do you feel about them? I am quite sure if you heard these kind of sentences, you don't feel yourself quite right. Even more, you tend to become frustrated, angry, or sad. The fact is, anytime when we hear words like that, we start to think about something negative. No matter who we are and where we live, we tend to make mistakes, even if some people are not admitting them. I find this quite interesting that we can say that we make mistakes nearly every single day, but somehow we still can deal with them in a natural way. This is what we share in common, but somehow we still afraid of mistakes and failures. And it's even more interesting that if we make mistakes nearly every day, how is it possible that still we don't learn from them? How we can make the same mistakes over and over again? First of all, I think that the current society is absolutely not treating failure as it should. Most of the time people are waiting to see others fail, and they are just waiting for the perfect moment and tell them, "I knew it was a bad idea, I knew that you will fail." These kind of people try to create an illusion that making mistakes and failures are absolutely unacceptable. In reality, the opposite is true. Learning from our mistakes is something which exists so long ago, and this is what most of the successful people already know. Even if they are not conscious about how it is called, their behavior is completely showing that they know exactly how they should handle situations where they fail or make mistakes. They perfectly know that if they would like to become successful, this kind of process is essential for their successes, and also they can get aligned with themselves way more. All in all, it's important to understand that if you would like to achieve your goals in your life and you also would like to become more self-conscious, then it's important to admit and understand how you can learn from your mistakes. Now the question is how you can learn to cope with mistakes and failures as the mentioned people. For this reason, I would like to share with you 5 tips which I guarantee that can help you to finally learn from your mistakes effectively. Tip 1. Own your mistakes. This is a crucial tip if you would like to learn from mistakes from the bottom of your heart. As I have already mentioned in the beginning of this video, all of us make mistakes, even if some people are not admitting it. If you are unable to admit your mistakes, it might lead to irreversible consequences in the future, which will cause serious troubles, and I think you don't want to find yourself in a negative situation. When you finally decided that you truly would like to learn from your mistakes and failures, the first thing what you need to understand is that you need to own your mistakes. The task sounds simple. Take the ownership, don't try to blame others, and don't look for easy ways how to bypass honest answers. Sometimes this can be uncomfortable, but if you are not ready to honestly say that I messed up, then it's a clear sign that you are not ready for the change. And this is super important, that you need to be ready honestly for the change. Because I have argued in my past a couple of times when I said that okay, this is my mistake, however, I just admitted it because I didn't want to get more seriously involved in the conversation. On the other hand, I still blamed others instead of myself. So the main message is saying something but feeling totally differently won't be enough if you would like to understand how you can learn from your mistakes. So shortly, next time when you make a mistake, don't forget to admit it and also take the responsibility for it. Try to change your mind, and instead of passing the responsibility to others, try to embrace your own mistakes. They can be an essential part of your future self-development, and they can be also the first steps on the learning curve how to solve them very efficiently. Tip 2. Determine the root causes. This step will help you to get aligned that what was the main source behind your mistakes. Once again, it's important to highlight that you can't blame anything or anybody for your mistakes. You must be fully responsible for the mistake what you had made. And for this reason, you must review the point when you felt that everything went out of control because of your actions. When you determine the situation, you must pay attention to all the things that you are able to change next time. Now let's see a couple of examples. What do I mean by that? Maybe you woke up grumpy because you didn't sleep enough, but you played video games until midnight. Maybe you did something great at your workplace, but somehow you don't understand why your boss didn't appreciate it, but you forget that you didn't ask for their permission first. Maybe your partner doesn't appreciate your gift, but you forget that this is something that they doesn't like. At this point, you don't need to think further and find possible solutions for these kind of cases. It's totally fine if you find the root causes and understand your responsibility in the process and what you can do to avoid these things next time. Now let's move to the third tip, which will be about the solutions. Tip 3. Ask honest questions. At this point, you already acknowledged your mistake and you found the main source behind them. Now it's time to recall the situation and start to ask honest questions from yourself, and hopefully the answers for these kind of questions will be part of your future plan. Now let's move back to the previous examples that I have shared with you and figure out what kind of questions we can ask if we would like to find the answers. So the first example was that you woke up grumpy because you played video games until midnight and you didn't sleep enough. At this situation, you can ask, why didn't you feel the urge to go to sleep earlier? Why did you prefer to play until midnight even though you knew that you will have an important day tomorrow? Why did you risk your sleep schedule if you knew that you will be tired next day if you don't go to sleep earlier? Now let's see questions for the work-related example. Why did you feel that you have the right to do the mentioned thing? Why did you feel that what you are going to do will be praised by your boss? Did you ask your boss' opinion before you made the decision? Did you share your idea previously with your boss? As you can see, none of these questions are related to certain people or objects. There are no questions which are asking why things happened in this way, why these people reacted the way as they did. If any of these kind of questions pop into your mind, forget them immediately. You only need to focus on questions which can be answered by your actions. Shortly, asking questions which are related to you can be as uncomfortable as determining the root cause of your situations. You know, I never said that this would be easy, but if you have the true intention for change, then open and honest questions and thoughts are unavoidable for successful learning. Tip 4. Create an action plan. Now it's time to create an action plan which will help you to avoid doing the same mistakes in the future. Be as detailed as possible, however, you should remain flexible for the unexpected changes. Collecting the answers for the previously shared questions can be an absolute advantage in the future, however, you should keep in mind that all situations are unique, which means that sometimes you need to adjust your plan if you would like to reach the desired results. Another important point is that you need to track the success rate of your action plans. It's not enough to come up with a plan and try to adjust your actions regarding it. However, you also need to track every single steps. Certainly, your plans won't work out all the time and you must prepare yourself to learn once again from the smaller mistakes that you might make during the process. After all of the required adjustments, sooner or later you will find yourself in a situation where your actions meet with the plan's expectations and the outcome will be as desired as you imagined. For accountability, you can ask your partner to help to track the progress, or you can keep yourself on track with self-notes on your phone. To wrap up this tip, a good plan can enormously ease your job. However, you must prepare yourself that things won't work out all the time as the way you imagined, but still it is something which can be an essential part of the process, so I definitely suggest you to create plans for a higher success rate. Tip 5. Put lessons into practice. The last step which can help you to provide the answer on how to learn from your mistakes when you place every single lesson that you have learned into actions. By this step you did everything what you could. You admitted the mistakes that you have made, you determined the root causes, spent time to find the answers, and you also came up with a plan which will help you how you would like to behave next time. You prepared yourself as much as you could, and right now it's time to place everything into practice. As I mentioned by the previous tip, don't expect that everything will happen the way as you planned, but this is not something that you need to care too much. You always need to make minor or major changes if you would like to get the expected results, but don't worry, this is natural part of your learning curve. After repeating this 5-tip process, you will realize that you can learn from your mistake quite efficiently and fast. Certainly, this kind of process is not working like you only need to do this once, but it's rather working as a circle, because next time when you find yourself that you made mistake, you need to come up with your own plan once again. Of course, you will face new situations and problems as time passes, so the process itself won't help you to avoid all kind of mistakes and failures in the future, but I think that's the beauty of making mistakes. We will continuously meet new situations throughout our life, and it's only up to us how we would like to behave anytime when we feel that we made a mistake or something didn't happen the way as we imagined. In the end, we can always learn from our mistakes, and I guarantee that if you apply these 5 tips into your life, at least you will become a better version of yourself. Now that was all for today, and I hope you found these kind of thoughts interesting regarding how to learn from your mistakes. And as always, please don't forget to share your own thoughts, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and see you next time.